It always seems a little risky to me when teams decide to trade a player's draft rights, simply because it opens the door to potential criticism down the road if the player they technically drafted, even if they never had any intention of selecting him for themselves, goes on and has a terrific career, while the player they acquired doesn't. There are some who criticize the Hawks, for example, for trading Luka Doncic's draft rights for Trae Young's in 2018, even though Trae is an outstanding player himself. He's just not quite as good as Luka, so criticism ensues. But then there are cases where one player turns out historically good and the other not so much. Like when the Bucks traded Dirk Nowitzki's draft rights in 1998 to the Mavs for Robert Traylor, or when the Bulls traded LaMarcus Aldridge's draft rights in 2006 to the Blazers for Tyrese Thomas's draft rights. The Pacers and Wizards are now in positions where people on the outside will be comparing Bilal Coulibaly and Jarace Walker, the 7th and 8th overall draft picks respectively in the 2023 NBA draft, who were traded for one another on draft night. Focusing on Walker in this video, the 19-year-old out of the University of Houston averaged 14.3 points over 4 games in Summer League, but shot just 34.3% from the field overall and 17.9% from three-point range. He also averaged 7.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.3 blocks, and 1.3 steals. Let's take a closer look at his game, starting with the driving floater that he has in his bag. Walker made 6 of his 10 driving floaters. Most glaring about this shot type for him is that he tends to drive left and then work his way into his right-handed floater, sometimes using a Euro step to position himself for that right-handed teardrop. Reviewing all these plays, the 2 times he made the floater after driving right, he used that Euro step to shift to his left and then launched with the right hand. For someone 235 pounds, he moves fluidly. It's just interesting that when he went right, he generally looked out of control. Here's him going left and finishing with ease, and then going right, everything looked less sharp, even though he's a right-handed player. Here he even gets blocked at the rim on a straight line drive. Looking now at his pull-up jumper, Walker seems to have a pretty decent touch from the mid-range. On the other hand, his footwork isn't very rhythmic. It just looks stiff sometimes, and there isn't much movement as he tries to create space. He does gather himself pretty well to get his jumper off, but as you see here, he'll take off-balance shots, sometimes fading away from the basket. I would describe it as slow and robotic. Here he even fades when there's no defender near him. So is Walker a good three-point shooter or is he not? This is a big mystery still. He didn't shoot it well at Summer League, going 5 for 28 from beyond the arc. In college, he made 35 of his 101 three-point attempts. 2 of those 5 makes in Summer League were on pull-ups, and the other 3 were catch and shoot, including this one on a pick and pop. Some of his misses from distance were way off though, as you can see here. The unique thing about Walker is his ability to set up shots for others. Some had mentioned before the draft that there was a little bit of Draymond Green in his game as far as the playmaking, and you see it in flashes. For someone his size, he's got a really nice feel for the game. This alley-oop to Isaiah Jackson and this touch pass to Benedict Mathurin are super impressive. Then he makes sharp high-low passes. He can be a secondary or tertiary handler as well. Walker's defense is really what made him such a high-level prospect. Not only does he have excellent timing to block shots and alter shots, but he also has extremely quick hands and reflexes that help him swipe the ball away from handlers. He had some of Summer League's most impressive blocks. I noticed a few times he poked the ball away from an opponent from behind. This defensive play really accentuates what he's capable of. First, he moves his feet to stay in front of the handler, who was fellow 2023 first round draft pick Olivier Maxence Prosper, and then when Prosper gets the ball back, Walker pokes the ball away. Here are some more clips that show Walker knocking the ball away from handlers. There are a few players in particular Walker reminds me of. One is Bobby Portis. Portis has a nice driving floater in his arsenal at his size, and then he can step out and knock down the long ball. Another is Marcus Morris Sr. Something about their pace and movements and use of their size and strength seems compatible. And then I do like the comp to Paul Millsap as well. Similar body frame and has those same tools and aesthetic when operating with the ball. I mentioned earlier Draymond Green as someone that perhaps Walker could be a bit like. That's more of a pie in the sky comp, especially defensively. But I do see some of those same instincts and anticipation defensively, as well as the playmaking and passing if Walker can reach his ceiling. The Pacers were one of the worst defensive teams in the league last season. In fact, they gave up the second most points. Adding Walker should help them improve on that end. It'll be interesting to see how he and Miles Turner mesh in the front court. So that'll wrap up this video. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe.